A contractor quotes you $30,000 for your pole barn. You budget $35,000 to be safe, and somehow you end up spending $50,000. This happens constantly, and it's almost never because the shell price was wrong. It's because of 7 costs that barely anyone mentions until you're already committed. Here they are, with real numbers, so it doesn't happen to you. Number 1, the concrete floor. This is the single biggest budget shock for first-time builders. A basic dirt floor pole barn kit looks incredibly cheap, but the moment you add a concrete slab, you're looking at $5 to $14 per square foot, which on a 40 by 60 building is $10,000 to $25,000 or more. One builder we found documented spending $11,000 on concrete alone, on top of a $26,000 material package. The concrete can genuinely cost as much as the entire building kit. Number 2, site work and grading. Before anything gets built, your land often needs to be cleared, leveled, and graded for drainage. This ranges from $3,000 to over $20,000 depending on your lot. If you hit rock, tree roots, or poor drainage, that number climbs fast. One real project budget jumped specifically because of unexpected dirt work the owner was responsible for under the contract. Number 3, electrical. A basic panel and a few outlets might run $1,000 to $3,000, but a proper shop setup with adequate wiring, lighting, and a full panel typically runs $8,000 to $20,000. In one documented 40 by 60 build, electrical alone was quoted at $11,000, and the owner skipped it entirely at first, just to stay on budget. Number 4, insulation. If you want a usable, comfortable space instead of a metal box, insulation for walls and ceiling runs anywhere from $8,000 to $35,000, depending on whether you choose basic fiberglass or full spray foam. Skipping this is common, but it often gets added later anyway, at a higher cost than doing it during initial construction. Number 5, overhead doors. A single insulated garage door with an opener can run $3,000 to $15,000 or more, depending on size. Multiply that by 2 or 3 doors on a larger shop, and you've added a meaningful chunk to your total that almost never shows up in the advertised kit price.
Permits, engineering, and surveys. Building permits typically cost $500 to $2,000, but many jurisdictions also require a stamped engineering review for larger structures, plus a land survey running $200 to $1,200. Skip this step and you risk stop work orders or having to tear out completed work. Number 7, utility hookups. If you're building on raw or vacant land, running electricity, water, or septic service to the site can cost $9,000 to over $34,000, especially if the utility connection point is far from the building. This is the cost most first-time builders forget entirely because it's not part of the building at all. It's what connects the building to everything else. Add these 7 categories up, and it's easy to see how a $30,000 shell quote turns into a $70,000 or even $90,000 finished project. None of these costs are the contractor's fault. They're simply not included in a basic shell or kit quote, and most sales materials don't emphasize them because the shell price is what gets people to call. Here's the fix. Before you sign anything, ask for a single itemized quote that separates the shell, concrete, electrical, insulation, doors, permits, and utility hookups into their own line items. If a builder won't break it down that way, that's your warning sign. Not a red flag on the building itself, but on the quote. If you're planning a build, subscribe for more real cost breakdowns and drop a comment with which of these 7 costs surprised you the most.